Morning peeps, good morning everyone. How's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget as well to like and share the vids. All right, let's just jump straight in and see what there is to talk about today. Let's start with this one, Dillian Whyte. I would have been better off losing the Franklin fight and then getting the AJ fight. Look, he's got a point. He's got a point. I remember in the lead up to Whyte Franklin, all the talk was about if Dillian Whyte wins, then we're going to see AJ Whyte in March or April. I remember AJ was ringside and I thought, okay, they're starting to sell. Dillian Whyte didn't look good, but the fact is he won. I've watched that fight back a few times and he won at 7-5, 8-4. He won that fight. And now all of a sudden, Dillian Whyte isn't going to fight AJ and AJ is going to fight the guy that Dillian Whyte beat. So you can understand why Dillian Whyte's a bit baffled by it, as we are as well as fight fans. There is a lot of talk of Dillian Whyte versus AJ in the summer. If AJ gets past Franklin and if Dillian Whyte gets past potentially Otto Volin. But I don't know why you keep rolling the dice with things like this. You should have just made, I think anyway, AJ Whyte in March. Look, we'll see. I'm speaking to AJ on Thursday or Friday. I'm going to ask him those questions like, how did Franklin come about? Like, there were other names being mentioned, Otto Volin, Hrgovic, Dillian Whyte. And why not Dillian Whyte? Some people tweeted things like, Dillian Whyte's a bit too risky for AJ. Not for me. Not for me at all. Look, I've said this a few times, so apologies for repeating myself. AJ lost to Alexander Usyk back-to-back. Alexander Usyk will go down as the greatest cruiserweight we've ever seen, as far as I'm concerned. If, and it's a big if, he beats Tyson Fury, would have been undisputed in 2 weight classes, which means he's now a top 15, top 20 fighter of all time. Undisputed in 2 weight classes. So that's who AJ lost to. So it's not like he lost to a scrub. He lost to an all-time great. And all this talk of a rebuild or maybe he needs to work on a few things. I get that if you're fighting a Joe Joyce or a Tyson Fury or maybe even a Deontay Wilder. I don't get that if the name on the sheet was Dillian Whyte. And this isn't discrediting Dillian Whyte. I just think AJ's got more than enough to get rid of Dillian Whyte. But look, we'll see. Again, I speak to AJ this week and I'll ask the tough questions. Dan Aziz explains delay, eyes Lawrence Okolie undercard. Has there been a delay? Felt like he only fought Rocky Fielding a few weeks ago, or is my sort of mind playing tricks on me? Look, the thing for Dan Aziz, for me, it's about him getting in the mix. And again, I've said this before, but he must look at all the light heavyweights in and around him and think, 1 second, Craig Richards had a world title shot against Dimitri Bivol. Craig Richards has fought Boatsi. Anthony Yarde had 2 world title shots. Boatsi, in turn, has fought Craig Richards. Who else? Callum Johnson fought Beterbiev. Callum Smith is mandatory to fight Beterbiev. What about me? Can I get a go? Can I get a shot against anyone? So if I'm Dan Aziz, look, the next fight has to be a big one. I don't know who against, but there are names out there. Like, there's been talk about Yarde versus Joe Smith. Dan Aziz versus Joe Smith. Look, you've got to risk it. Joe Smith is coming off a loss. Dan Aziz is in his 30s now. He's not a spring chicken. He's got to go. So hopefully he gets an opportunity, because it must be frustrating knowing that you're ready, right? You've got a good training set up and it's not getting the fights. Just not getting the fights. You know, I was just thinking, Okolie and Aziz both have American trainers now. Aziz with Buddy McGirt, Okolie now with Sugar Hill Stewart. How many of our top British fighters have American trainers? It's incredible. When you think it's incredible, like AJ, obviously not announced, but Derek James, Boatsi is with Virgil Hunter, Tyson Fury with Sugar Hill Stewart, Callum Smith, Buddy McGirt, even Eubank Jr. I don't know if you guys think of him as a top fighter, but Roy Jones Jr. A lot of our British fighters now are deciding for some reason to go and train or be trained by Americans. You never ever see the opposite happening, do you? You never. Why is that? You never see an American fighter saying, okay, give me one of those Brits to train me. Never happens. And I think we've got some good trainers over here. It is interesting, right? De La Hoya reaches out to Nate Diaz about working together. Look, the only fight for Nate Diaz, and I'm a big Nate Diaz fan, but the only fight for him is Jake Paul. It's Jake Paul. That's it. Maybe Tommy Fury, right? If Nate Diaz were to fight a real boxer, he's going to get lit up. He's going to get lit up. Trust me. Especially this version of Nate Diaz, who's just had so many wars. Jake Paul's the fight. It's the money fight. Let that happen on PFL, whatever. Or anywhere else, but that's the only fight for him. Him working with De La Hoya for real fights just ain't gonna end well. Mauricio Lara warns Lee Wood, you will need therapy to recover. Jeez, I done a little promo piece. You might have, I don't know if it's out already, but I voiced a promo piece for this fight. Really looking forward to it. We haven't got long to wait. February the 18th. I feel like there needs to be a bit more of a push about it. I think we've had so many big fights recently over here. This one, for some reason, I feel like it's being forgotten just a little bit, and it shouldn't be, because it's going to be war, and the atmosphere in that Nottingham arena is going to be incredible as well. And look, credit to Lee Wood, man. You got elevated to world champion. You're supposed to fight him 4 or 5 months ago. You didn't do it. You could have said, okay, you know what, we're going to go somewhere else. But you said, you know what, fuck it, bring it on. Bring it on. What, this is the fire? I'm walking straight into the fire. This fight ain't going point. Someone's getting put to sleep. And as much as I think a lot of people will say that someone could be Lee Wood, hey, Lee Wood can hit, Lee Wood can hit. But hopefully Ben Davison's got a good game plan, because Mauricio Lara is super dangerous. Ben Shalom, pardon me, on Conor Benn. I don't know what the WBC have to do with whether he's fighting or not. I've said this. I've been saying this for a while. It doesn't make sense to me how, like, it's the WBC that are making a ruling on this. Conor Benn is, well, he will hopefully get his British Boxer Board of Control license back. They should be the only body that decide whether or not he's allowed to fight, not the WBC. They're not the world governing body. Makes absolutely no sense. I said from the get-go, if it isn't the British Boxing Board of Control, it should be an independent body. And I said this already, the Court of Arbitration for Sport. Nothing to do with boxing. They look at all the facts and they decide what happens next. Who's given the WBC this power? Like, you never see the WBA or the WBO or the IBF doing things like this. Who are they? I find it incredible. I really do. Now, Eddie Hearn on Joshua's next fight. If AJ don't win, then we've got a major problem. Jeez. Let me wipe the sweat off my brow. Mate, it's not even if AJ don't win. If AJ don't look really good, I think there is a bigger problem. I really do. I think people have just about accepted this Jermaine Franklin fight. There was, even from me, look, obviously you guys know my loyalty and my, I will always be an AJ fan. But even I was like, nah, man, I don't really like this fight. But then, okay, I kind of thought, okay, he's lost his last 2, new trainer, he's lost 3 out of his last 5. I'll accept this one. But AJ's got to look good. I saw Jermaine Franklin against Dillian Whyte. I wasn't super impressed. I'm like, okay, if the AJ that fought Usyk turns up, AJ gets rid of him, like destroys him, which is what I want to see. So it isn't, for me, I'm going to take it a step further. It isn't just if AJ don't win. If AJ don't look good, I think there's bigger problems. But I think he will win. I think he will look really, really good. And then we move on to the summer. But yeah, I think Eddie's spot on there. There is a major problem if AJ doesn't win. Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano, face-to-face after Serrano's war. And it was a war against Erica Cruz. But before we talk about Katie Taylor Serrano, on my video, I think yesterday or the day before, I didn't really talk about the Serrano-Erica Cruz fight. Look, Serrano won. I think a couple of judges' scorecards were 98-92, which is ridiculous. I had it 6-4 to Serrano, which is close, very, very close. But I thought she landed the bigger shots, a bit more active, pushed Erica Cruz, who looked the naturally smaller of the two, back a lot. Erica Cruz landed some brutal shots, though. Both of them were, man, I think Eddie said something like fight of the year. And it, look, the year's only just started, right? So there aren't that many fights to choose from yet. But it probably is fight of the year so far. That always isn't a good thing, That's not always a good thing. To be in the fight of the year all the time ain't great. She was in the fight of the year last year against Katie Taylor. Fight of the year this year against Erica Cruz. Why do I keep butchering that name? That means you're in wars. It means you're in wars. And look, it's good for us as fans. We get entertained. And I'm watching it, I'm jumping off my seat. But for the fighter's health going forward, it's not great just to be in slug matches all the time. They take a lot out of you. They really do. You could apply the same sort of logic to Katie Taylor as well. I mean, she's always in tough fights as well, brutal fights. Like Floyd Mayweather was never in a fight of the year contender. He doesn't want that. He doesn't want to get hit like that. And I feel like, I don't know, it's a bit too late to work on Serrano in terms of, okay, maybe be a bit more defensively sound. But, I mean, her versus Katie Taylor is going to be as brutal again. And I feel like It's not always a good thing. Not always a good thing. I'll tell you what is a good thing though. 10 2-minute rounds is a good thing for female boxing. A lot of people have said 12 twos or 12 threes even. I think 10 twos means they can go at the pace that they go at, which is frightening. The pace is incredible. There is no let up. There is no, backward step. There is no, okay, I'm going to take maybe the foot off the pedal for the first minute of the round just to kind of ease back into it. It literally is 2 minutes like that. It's bang, bang, bang. But look, so credit to Amanda Serrano. So look, we saw both girls in the ring, Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano, all of them with their belts, which is an incredible photo. And we go again. It's going to be Dublin. We don't know where yet. Obviously, look, Katie's begging for Croke Park. What is the capacity of Croke Park? Because I've spoken to a lot of people, and I'm like, as much as she wants to do it at Croke Park and Eddie wants to give her Croke Park, I've got it here now, 82,300. And I don't know Katie Taylor's, I know she's very, very popular in Ireland, obviously, right? She's probably their number one sports star of all time. And there are a few, but she's probably right at the top of the pile. Will 82,000 turn up? That's a lot. That's a lot. It really is. I just wonder if they're starting to weigh up the cost of it and think, okay, if we sell out, fine. If we don't, we might have a bit of a problem. Hence why Eddie's maybe stalling, sort of paying the fee to host the event at Croke Park. I guess that's the reason why Conor McGregor's like, I'll pay $500,000. But I hope that, I'm still split on it. I said I wanted it at Madison Square Garden. You guys know why. A, because I get out there, but B, because I love the fact that it's going to be half Puerto Ricans, half Irish, and they're all fucking going at each other. It was incredible. This will just be obviously all Irish, which will create an amazing atmosphere, but I don't know if that's fair on Amanda Serrano. I really don't. So Amanda Serrano's having to come up, £9, £10. She's having to go to Ireland as well. Hope she's getting paid. I hope that that Jake Paul and this MVP Promotions are making sure that she's getting paid, because that ain't easy. But look, it's going to be a fantastic fight. Will it be as good as the first one? Even if it was only half as good as the first one, it's going to be spectacular. So hopefully we get some confirmation as to where it happens. Obviously, we know when, May, right? Where, we're still not quite sure yet. I do wonder if there's still a hold on Madison Square Garden just in case the island thing doesn't work out. Edgar Berlanga, I already know I'm a star. I'm ready for big time fights. You're not a star yet. You're not a star at all. Stop this. You're not a star. It might feel like it now because everyone's trying to get his signature. Eddie's trying to get the signature. Oscar's trying to get the signature. But we need to see way more. This is part of the issue, I think, with fighters coming up. For him to think he's already a star without achieving anything is part of the issue I have with current boxers. And look, some might have said that about boxers in the noughties, in the 90s, and the 80s, but you're not a star. You've not done anything to say you're a star. Let's see you in there against some big names. We haven't seen that yet. Yes, you started like a house on fire, but recently it's gone cold. It's gone very, very cold. Beterbiev praises Yard. This guy was more resistant than any of Beterbiev's last opponents. No, I think that's a bit harsh on Vosdick and Marcus Brown. Marcus Brown was right there. That was a war. Look, Yard done well, don't get me wrong, but I don't know if he was any better than those two I just mentioned. Like, Vosdick was winning the fight before Beterbiev got to him. Marcus Brown was in it as well, so not sure about that. That's not discrediting Yard, I'm just not sure about that. Anything else before we wrap? Let's have a look. 2 secs. Shakur Stevenson here saying, I'm taking over the lightweight division. My run starts on April 8th. Yes, Shakur Stevenson is back in the ring. Look, he's just waiting to see how everything plays out, right? Lightweight division's a hot one. And how does he kind of fall into it, get into it? Obviously, Devin Haney, Loma's going to happen in May. We hope. We're still waiting for the announcement of Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia. Where does Shakur Stevenson fall within this mix? I think he could be the best out of all of them. But right now, he's struggling to get a go against any of those big names that we've just mentioned. So look, let's see how he gets in the mix. All right, guys, what is the time? I am late for work. I got to go. Peace and love.